What's going on, everyone? This is Brian Turner here with the No Stress Midwest podcast. Freaking crazy. Season 7 right now. We are starting season 7. Um, every theme or every season, we like to have a different theme. So this one's going to be really focused around professional players and just kind of the things that they do mentally, physically, emotionally, to become a pro, but then more importantly, to stay a pro. I think we can say I'm not going to say it's easy to become a professional athlete, but getting that second contract, they say, is the one that kind of keeps you there. So we're starting season 7 with guest Mikey Lopez of the Birmingham Legion. Mikey, what is up, my guy?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Talk to me, man. So how's life treating you? I know you're kind of getting off of an injury. You were telling me we can go into a little more detail, but how's your Friday?
Yeah, Freddy's been good. Started training. We had training this morning, so never a bad way to start a Friday with some soccer in the morning, and now it's just time to chill. But yeah, it's been good.
Soccer in the morning, podcast in the afternoon. I feel like
Yeah, exactly,
Your Friday's headed the right direction.
exactly.
Yeah, so everyone, Mikey and I met. We met at it was at a B course last year. Mikey was one of the few pro players that's making that jump to the coaching side, and he was getting his B license with a lot of other professional athletes. I recognize his name from his days with Sporting, being drafted from them, the super kid out of UNC, huge Tar Heel fan as well. So Mikey, let's just kind of jump into the beginning parts, and I don't want to talk about when you were first born and your first touch and all of that stuff. But at what level or what age did you kind of say, "Hey, maybe soccer, football is the thing I want to pursue, and I'm good enough to maybe do that"? What was that moment that kind of led to it?
Yeah, I think the earliest that I can remember doing that was well, I've always wanted to be a professional soccer player. I wanted to be pro from like when I was really little, but I think the moment that I figured out that I could actually do it and be like have this be my job and my life pretty much was I want to say freshman year of high school.
Okay.
So I was like 14, 15. The moment that changed it for me was making the national team, the U15 national team, and just starting that whole journey with the national team. And I once I was called up, I was like, shoot, I guess I am like I guess I'm one of the better players in my age group at that time. And I was like, if this is like what it takes to get there, like I know I can do it, and I know like that was the stepping stone to like fully devote my time to soccer.
Yeah. So were there any people that you were in camp with that has made it to the pro ranks along with you, or anyone that maybe has recently retired or something along those lines?
Yeah, I mean, I had 15 at the U15s. I want to say, I think Will Trapp was there.
Okay.
Um, there's some other guys. I know around that time, that's when Luis Gil
Yep.
he was the main one, main character. And there were some other players that I don't remember from U15s, but like I was with the national team, U15, U18, U20s, and a lot of those guys are
They're
still
still up there.
playing.
Yeah.
No one, not that I can think of at the top of my head, has retired, but a lot of them are still playing. I know in my World Cup team with the U20s, it was I think more than half of that team is still playing, like Will Trapp, DeAndre Yedlin, Zach Steffen. Um, then you have, I think Cody Cropper just retired, Kendall McIntosh, and a bunch of other
But people.
players that are
Yeah.
still in it. So it's yeah, it's crazy how starting at that young, there's still a lot of players that are in it. Obviously, there's a lot more players that are not in the game,
Yeah.
but
Right.
there are still a good amount of us that are playing at a high level.
Yeah, well, and I mean, some of the names you said aren't scrubs, right? So,
No, no, not
you
at all.
know, so I mean, that's a high caliber of talent that, that's in there. And I always like talking to players with youth national teams that have kind of come up the ranks to see, what players make it, which ones don't.
Mhm.
What you find with any high level team or with every team, you always are going to have role players, utility players, and like you can be respectively as good as you are in your one area, but when you get around the best people in the country, you're just, you're just another person,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, kind of the segue with that point, what is it that that you attribute being able to stay a professional still to? There's one or two things maybe. Is it, a good attitude? Is it the amount of time you put in off the field in recovery? Is it you're a junkie of watching the games? Kind of what is it that you think are one to two things that's still kept that love and fire in your heart to play?
Yeah, I think the two things I can think of right off the top of my head is you have to be willing to put in the work,
Hmm.
like having that hard work and that dedication. But you also have to love the game. Like you have to be passionate of the game. Um, there, as soon as that leaves, I think that's the most important thing. As soon as you stop like loving the game and stop like wanting to play, I think that's when you are kind of phasing out. Like that's when you kind of stop or you're not wanting to continue.
Right.
Um, but like if you can keep that, then the next most important thing is the hard work. Like you have to be willing to put in work because it is a lot of hard work to get to the top because there's always other people that are working just as hard or harder than you that can surpass you if you like take a time like take multiple time like days or stuff that you aren't putting in the work. So I think those are the two most important things to become a professional and to stay a professional is loving and having passion for the game and just willing to put in the work.
And with the work part, like, okay, so for most listeners, they don't quite know how a professional day, normal day of training goes. But let's say what you report maybe to the field around 8 or so. Do you grab breakfast beforehand?
Yeah, for me, my typical day is like I wake up at 6:30, and like I'm just chilling and have breakfast here, walk my dog before I go to practice. Then have to show up at training for at 9 a.m. We train at 9:30 and train, and then I'm there till maybe so I'm usually like the last one there. So I probably stay there till like 1 p.m. around there, 1:30. Just
Okay,
cause well right now just cause I do stuff with the team and then I do extra work
you're
just to
extra.
for my
Yeah.
rehab. But even when I was fully healthy, I would stay pretty late just because I like being around the staff and the training staff and just talking to them and messing around and just being around the team and the facility and obviously putting in
That
extra work
extra work.
whatever is needed but and after that I come home and just relax and just start like kind of preparing for the next day.
Right. It's
um
your personal
but
time as
yeah,
well,
for
right?
sure, yeah, and it's just your time to decompress and hang out with your family, your loved ones, or your dog or your pet, and then just start getting ready for the next day of work.
Yeah. How much time would you say off the field that you're putting into training, working out, recovering, watching game film, anything that's making you a better athlete and a better footballer, but that's not like I'm here with my team. I have to be here. This is the stuff you're doing at home.
Yeah, a lot of time actually. I I always do like some push-ups, some abs while I'm at home, like at throughout the day, pretty much. Um, if there's games, I watch games. I'm always watching any type of soccer game that's on TV.
Yeah,
And if there are times where I do watch some of my film or some of the opposing team that we're gonna play. Um, but it's just that. I guess for me, it's just like I don't like to not be like involved in soccer, so it's or thinking about soccer. So it's always just doing something to like kind of keep me a little sharp or a
Stay you
little
in, yeah.
yeah.
No, are you watching Mikey Lopez highlight tapes from Carolina, or is not yet?
Nah,
You're
nah.
not at that point
Every once in a while when I see
yet.
like especially this year that I haven't been playing it, just to remember how I played and how I looked,
The
I'll
good
watch
old
a couple of
days.
videos, but nah, I haven't yet. I haven't yet.
So Mikey, let's kind of talk about your personal journey, right? So you've got a 10 plus year or 10 plus years playing professionally through the MLS USL level. First round draft pick by Sporting, like we said. Um, Kind of talk to me after that draft, and you're a Tar Heel guy. I've said that a few times. I'm a big Carolina Blue fan.
Yes,
Screw
sir.
Duke, right? We
Yeah,
don't we
yeah.
don't we don't
Nah,
talk
nah, nah.
about them. But what was your first like pro moment where like you were like, damn, this is it. This is what it feels like.
I think uh I think my debut game and it wasn't an MLS game. It was actually an Open Cup game,
Yep.
but we still got like a good amount of fans there. And it was actually
It was Des
like
Moines, right? I think Des
yeah,
Moines
yeah, Des
Menace.
Moines
Yeah.
Menace. And it was actually like the um it was the one game I played before I went to the World Cup for the U20s. And I, it was just like sick. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was also my parents were there for that game, so an extra special moment, special occasion for me. But yeah, I think that was one. I think the other one, which happened much later than my sporting career, was when I got to New York City and was teammates with, or like when I first met David Villa, and he was
Uh-huh.
like the first person to introduce me to the club and to the team because he was a captain. And then just like being sat down with Andrea, with Pirlo, and with Lampard and a bunch of
Lampard was there. Yep.
other guys, and just like seeing that, I was like, I made it, but I didn't like I haven't really made it, but I made it. You know, that's like
Yeah, no,
my
for sure. You
yeah.
watch these
So
guys on TV, and I know you went to NYCFC after, and that was going to be another question, was kind of what
mhm,
was the difference between the two clubs, the two environments, right? Obviously, one is New York and one is
mhm.
Kansas City. So they have their they have
Yeah.
their own differences. But I mean, you mentioned NYCFC, you're playing with the World Cup, winners, the likes of David Villa, the likes of Pirlo, the likes of Lampard, some Premier League legends, some just
Mhm.
overall football legends. How did you manage to stay grounded, but then also like, I mean, you're a professional athlete, so you're pretty fucking good too, right? So where's that line of like, wow, yeah, I'm sorry, David, but then also
Yeah.
like, nah, screw that, I can do this too.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think their having them was actually very helpful and seeing them on like on a day to day. Um, because like you said, have accomplished pretty much everything that you want to accomplish as a soccer athlete, as
Yeah.
a professional. Um, and just seeing how humble and how hardworking they were made me realize like, I mean, I am n- nowhere close to where they're at, and they're putting as much or more work than I am. Like I gotta
Step it up.
stay on my stuff, you know? Like I
Yeah.
can't just be thinking that I'm some big shot guy just because I'm playing here. Like no, like I gotta uh every day come to practice and work hard and work like it's the last day of my career pretty much, and just seeing them how they worked it, I think that's what kept me um even more grounded, more humble, and as a pro.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like in the professional world, and I think I've brought this up on another podcast talking with guys who are in the USL championship. Um, being a pro, like it's very lucky if you're at one club for a
Mhm.
long time, right? bouncing around 2-year contracts, 1+ options, 2+ options, right? So you've moved around quite a bit, and in different parts of the country as well, right? So
Mhm.
kind of how do you stay focused on that and like going to a different locker room, going to a different coach, going to a different, location, going to right a different, now having to find housing and bringing the missus or the kids.
Mhm.
What's that stuff like, and how do you keep focused and keep your blinders on with that so you can continue to do the footballing stuff that gets you paid and doing this life?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely difficult, especially uh in American sports. You can be traded at any moment, and that part's tough. I've been, I guess, fortunate that I haven't experienced that like during like like mid-season.
Right.
Um, but it's difficult, but you have to just stay in the moment pretty much. You have to stay in present and not think too much about the future, because that will get really tricky.
Yeah.
And it's also, I've been fortunate that my wife has been pretty much like a team player with moving, and she's known that like that's part of the business and part of the job, that we may be here for. Like right now I've been with Birmingham for 6 years, but uh I was with San Antonio for a year, I was in New York City for two, so she knows that it could be a year, it could be
Yep.
6 years. So it's difficult, but as long as you have that, I guess, that conversation with your family and loved ones, and they know that this is part of the business, that makes it easier. Um, but also just knowing the guys in the team kind of make it easier as well, if you're going to a new team. If you're going to a new team that has a good locker room, and they'll welcome you in and make you feel a part of the family, that makes it a lot easier than if the locker room's not a great locker room.
Toxic.
then
Yeah.
then you'll start then you'll start struggling, like anything else, like in any other job, where if you have a toxic environment, then no one's gonna be happy, no one's gonna prosper. But so yeah, it's just a bunch of different factors that, if it's a toxic environment, then it makes it a lot more difficult. So that's like anything else, like in any job, where if it's toxic, you're never gonna, no one's gonna be happy, no one's gonna prosper. So, um, but I guess like for myself, it's just to stay in the moment, and with whatever team I'm at, make it the best that I can, make it the best environment for myself in the team, and so that everyone, so that the family and everybody is happy with everything.
Yeah. Well, and you talked about, your wife understood, the assignment, as they say now, but she understood the lifestyle that she was
Mhm.
getting into, and knowing that. I think that's really important. I talked to, professional players, coaches, ones where their life or their job is not in their hands so much. And making sure that you have someone that understands, hey, at the drop of a hat, we could be halfway across the country,
Mhm.
halfway across the world, but it's for the bigger picture, right?
Yeah,
So,
for sure, for sure.
we've talked about this, and then on top of the playing, on top of being traded, on top of all of this other stuff, then you tear your Achilles, right? So now we've got an injury. There's an ACL, whatever that is. How do you get through that, right? You were saying you're watching, like old clips, joking around to remember those days, but I'm sure it's not an easy thing mentally. You see all of your friends out playing and you're stuck inside with your leg, elevated 30 degrees.
Yeah, yeah, it's not it's not easy at all. I think I think this year has been very difficult for me. I Like you said, I tore my Achilles once, and then the first time that I did it, it was okay. Like, it wasn't okay, but a better I was okay with it. Like,
Right.
I accepted it early, and like I knew I'd be back quickly, and I try to stay like as positive as I could, and I'm a pretty positive and optimistic guy, and I like to just stay focused. Like I said, like stay focused on the day and just try to win the day. But then unfortunately, I tore it again like 2 months into my rehab, and that one killed me. Um,
Man, that's
that
tough.
one, yeah, that one was way more difficult than the first time. I After that one, I had no idea how long it would take for me to recover. Um, was being told that it was going to be like a lot longer process, obviously, because it's the second time in a short amount of time
Yeah,
that I tore it. Um, but it it is difficult, and it did mess with my mental health, and I was just like really worried and stressed. The Having like kind of therapy helped me, like talking to like a sports psychologist helped me kind of get that fear out of my head, like just talking about it and like not keeping that to myself
yeah,
helps a lot, because if you just start to internalize things like that is never good for anybody. Um, and and honestly, just being around the team kind of helped me as well. Just being around the guys and being like joking around with them and just seeing soccer. As much as I hated not being out there on the field, training with them, um, but just being there just kind of made me feel a little bit lighter and better. And um, and honestly, the one thing that really helped me was the moment that the doctor told me I could start working out. Because I was going crazy just
yeah.
inside the house for 2 months, not being able to do anything, not being able to leave my house. I was just like planted on my couch for 2 months watching TV, and it was just I was going mad.
Miserable.
Yeah,
And it's
and
funny because that's some people's dream.
yeah,
Until
and
you know to lay on the
yeah,
couch and not do anything.
until you have to do that,
Yeah,
it's not as good as you think it is.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, I think like thankfully everything's been going well, and I've been working out, and that like I said, working out was life changing for me at the time because it made me just to like I was just able to leave the house and just get some fresh air
have a
and sweat.
purpose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sweat
you know.
again and just feel like an athlete again
Yep.
was game changing. So but it is very difficult, and like I don't wish on anybody that anybody goes through that, but if you do, like it's very important just to try and stay positive as you can, and like if you need to talk to somebody, like talk to somebody because that really does help. Like you're just being able to release some of that like pain and anger that you're feeling, rather than internalizing it's extremely helpful, and that like if you can do that, your mental health is good, then like you'll be able to overcome any obstacle
Any
really.
obstacle. Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's the part of the game, right? That people don't see and that isn't as luxurious, but
Mhm.
also you're not so much promoting it. But I saw with you, when you were going through your rehab, you were on a YouTube, create a YouTube channel. You're on
Yeah.
Instagram every day posting stuff. And I think just trying to see people be a part of that rehab journey, right? I think it kind of shows like, okay, well, hey, he's going through it, and this is what a professional is doing. Shit, I tore my Achilles last year, and I was watching some of the stuff you were doing, knowing I'm in a better position and condition, but I'm like, this is what the pros are doing, so
Mhm.
let me see if I can do some of this stuff. Um, and to kind of go into the next point, right? Like, what is it that you do for fun? To some people, like playing soccer, yes, playing football is fun, but that's your job. So what is it for fun? You were trying to do, or maybe you still are the Noah Kavanaugh, like freaking boot, testing out different boots and showing us what, the collection you have. Um, you made the YouTube channel, right? So you're kind of in that world, but what is it that you like to do when you want to unwind and just relax or enjoy something? Are you a musician? Is Mikey, killing karaoke at all?
Not at all. I'm extremely tone deaf.
Okay.
I'm awful at singing. Yeah, no. If I start singing a song, my wife just tells me to be quiet because it's not good.
It's not good.
No, no. I mean, honestly, I think what I like to do is go outside on walks with my dog. I think he helps me a lot. And he like just being able to be outside in nature with him and just walk and just throw the ball or throw a stick with him and just have him by my side um makes me feel a lot better each day. I also just like to play video games
Okay.
a
What's the
lot.
what's the game? What's the game that
Right
we're playing?
right now it's or I guess it's called what is it called? Yes, EA Sports College Football,
Yeah,
NCAA,
but
pretty much.
NCAA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
NCAA.
NCAA.
Yeah.
For the ones that know,
It's
it's
NCAA.
NCAA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
NCAA. Yeah.
So am I good? I'm not great, but I like playing it. But yeah, it's video games and just being out with my dog and just those two things are like my goes to unwind and just to enjoy and just be not thinking of anything really.
Yeah. Well, look, Mikey, we're getting ready. We're coming here to the end of the episode. Just wanted to get two questions out of you real quick. One, what do you think is the biggest misconception people have about professional athletes?
Um, that I guess for us as Americans, our lives aren't as lavish as many people think.
Yeah, not on that like Erling
Yeah,
Haaland
no,
200,000 euros a week type of
no,
freaking
not,
salary.
yeah, exactly. It's a lot of hard work, and a lot of people just see the finished product on game days. They don't see what's going on uh, throughout the week and throughout day-to-day things that guys on the team are going through. Um, but it is a fun job.
Yeah,
Don't get it wrong. Don't but it is a difficult one because it's a lot of pressure that you're always constantly kind of being criticized for playing a game, which
right.
is okay with me. Like we love it, but that is kind of part of the business for us.
Yeah, you got Rob22678 on Instagram saying you suck and you can't finish the
Yeah,
chance, right? It's
exactly.
inside the box. Like, damn it,
Exactly.
Rob, you're right. Uh, and then Mikey, final question I have for you. If there's any words of wisdom, any insight, any advice that you would give the kid that's playing high school soccer, playing ECNL, maybe playing academy and wanting that life, wanting to play professionally, um, what would you tell them? What do you wish maybe you would have done differently? What do you wish was maybe told to you when you were a kid to help you get to that level?
Well, like I said earlier, the two things that helped me become a pro was hard work, be willing to put in the work and to enjoy soccer, love soccer, have fun with it. At the end of the day, it's a game. And if you're not
Yep.
having fun, then you're not gonna do much with this.
Nope. Nope.
Um, so just work hard every day, but have fun with the game and obviously the last one is just be determined because there's gonna be a lot of times where people are gonna tell you that you're not good enough or you're not gonna make it and no one can really no you shouldn't listen to them. No one can tell you what you can or cannot do. I think it's totally up to you and if you want to do it then you can do it as long as you enjoy the game and work hard at it.
Yeah, Mikey Lopez, man, that's some good stuff there. So all right, your team just left. They're getting ready to play. You said Loudon tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
What's your weekend looking like? Are you hopping on the private jet to get out there for the game or
Yeah, in my dreams I am. No, well, since we did the coaching thing, I'm coaching a team. We actually have a
okay.
game tomorrow at home in Birmingham, and on Sunday we have a game in Atlanta. So I'll
Oh, you're
go.
moving.
I'll do
All
that.
right.
Yeah, I'll do
There we
that. But
go.
thankfully, our game tomorrow is early, and so then I'll coach the game, and then I'll watch our team
Watch your
play
team. Yeah.
in the
Dang.
afternoon.
So
So
the gaffer's got his team. How are the boys looking?
yeah, they're looking good. They're looking pretty good. So it's a pretty new team, and I think everyone's enjoying it, and
Are you
I'm
enjoying
having
it?
fun. Yeah,
There we
I'm having
go.
fun with
There
it.
we
I'm
go.
having fun with it. So
Just like
it's definitely good.
just like as a player, right? If you're not enjoying it, what are you doing it for?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's been a good experience, and I'm really enjoying it.
Awesome. Well, Mikey, my man, that's all I got for you today. I appreciate you taking the time out
I
of your
appreciate you.
day to
Yeah,
hop
thank you.
on here. And everyone, Mikey Lopez, season 7, episode 1. We are talking to strictly pro players on what does it take to get to that level, and more importantly, what does it take to stay at that level. So, Mikey, thank you again. And for the No Stress Midwest podcast listeners, we will catch you next week with our next episode, everyone. Cheers.